I think if we ever got rid of Joe for any reason other than an actual real like proper genuine one,
Like
I think
if he died.
Yeah, or like he'd robbed someone or something. You know?
Yeah.
Or he said something. Like I think there'd be actual riots on the streets.
I'd have to say something pretty bad.
I mean, you would, yeah. That's factual.
Not test it.
But it's probably within the realms of possibility, Joe.
I think you'd get cancelled before I would.
I don't know.
I
not sure
disagree.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that one, mate.
From the man that dropped an incredible Anne Frank joke the other week.
It was good, wasn't it?
It was great. I
Yeah.
applaud that. But
Yeah.
some people might not appreciate it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome
start.
back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us on this. It's cold, but it's not rainy at least. But it's a bit colder than it was, but there's less sunshine.
It's getting better.
It's an alright day.
It's less wintry.
It's slightly less wintry. Day here in sunny Southampton. Not sunny Southampton. If you haven't already, please make sure you smash all the YouTube buttons for us as per usual, you wonderful human beings. And we are still in Emperor's Children preview. Now, I was sat the other side of this wooden wall earlier at my desk whilst you and Joe were playing, building the second track of my Lord of Skulls.
Oh.
I built the first one like 3 months ago, hated it, and now I've done the second one, so another 3 months I might build the third one.
Did you enjoy the second one anymore?
I feel like it was less shit this time around, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I built my second track for the Lord of Skulls, and I sat there listening to Joe complain quite a lot.
No.
It's a god-awful detachment.
About the detachment that he was playing. So
Yeah.
Joe's been...
I
Joe's
think
been,
it's better than you think.
It gets better if you get the army rule.
it's so Joe's been playing lots of Emperor's Children stuff, chat, right? He's obviously been playing the 2 games on stream so far, and he's played 4 or 5 games, I think, off of stream with the Emperor's Children, trying out the different detachments, etc. We do this often before we go live, so we can try and work out what things do what and how stratagems work before we do it for the first time, which is, I think, a benefit for you guys.
Yeah.
Also gives Joe the opportunity to try all of the detachments out if we're only doing 3 or 4 streams with the new book, which is also a benefit. And I'm sat there, and I said to you earlier, I've got back onto my World Eaters hype simply because you're playing Emperor's Children, and it got me excited about Chaos, and I kept looking at Emperor's Children. I nearly bought the box, and I was like, I looked at all the rules again, and I was like, I'd just rather do World Eaters because I think they do what I want to do better than what New Emperor's Children do.
Yeah.
And that gave me an idea of having heard you complain about that particular detachment after you complained quite heavily about last week's detachment. But I think it was right to show off the demons.
Yeah,
one.
the thing is that the demon detachment is bad now. It will get better
Because of the units available.
because of the units available. So, and that's the problem with the general release of how they've done it. I think because we talked the other week about why only release the box set, why not release everything. Like, I understand them spreading out, but in terms of getting to learn the rules and do the detachments, it makes some detachments look worse than others because you can't play some the way you'd want to. Because that demon detachment only gets good once they release all the models whenever.
Well, it gave me an idea for a stream.
Yeah.
We'll rank the 4 Chaos Legions, which might not be the 4. You might decide to throw in some wild cards in there, like Black Legion, etc. But I figured if we look at the now independent 4 Chaos Gods, so World Eaters, Thousand Sons, Emperor's Children, and Death Guard, we potentially could rank them. This can go anywhere as well, chat. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. We're gonna, I think to start with, we're gonna look at the playability within the current game. Their sort of the way the detachments work, whether they work narratively, etc., and how good they are. We can go off on tangents about how we rank the 4 gods narratively, but I don't feel that's kind of all that relevant right now. And often that's kind of based on people's preferences.
Yeah, narrative is just full bias.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so.
Because none of us there would be like, yeah, we love Nurgle.
I prefer the Nurgle narrative, I think, to the actual army way it plays.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But I have something we could do because I think I've got an order of things in terms of where I think each one of them sits in how fun they are to play and how well they play on the tabletop.
Yeah.
And I think there could be a debate for the middle too. So for me personally, I think bottom of the pile currently is probably Death Guard.
Yeah.
In terms of playability.
Yeah. How the army plays on the tabletop, how much fun they are to play, and how good they are.
I think Thousand Suns are at the bottom, right? In terms of playability, right? Specifically because there's massively high levels of admin.
True.
And also, it's not a forgiving army to play. The people I've spoken to, because the points are so high, in Thousand Suns. You don't get like great choices in terms of
Yeah.
units, but also like the moment you lose a unit, that also massively negatively impacts your army rule. Because once a unit of rubrics dies or a sorcerer dies, your cabal points go down. So any kind of misstep, and it's not just models you're losing; it's
So
army playability.
if let's say for the sake of argument though, we had a fully competent player in charge of every army, do you still put Thousand Suns at the bottom?
I'd put Death Guard at the bottom then.
Okay, interesting. So that changes depending on who's
Yeah,
playing.
I think. Yeah.
I think Death Guard are the least fun to play, in my opinion, just because they're really slow. They don't really do a lot of damage, and their Primarch is by far the most underwhelming.
Oh, he's bad.
That's my main issue with them.
People
Because if you're
were.
playing one of the four,
Yeah.
you want your Primarch to do cool shit. And Mortarion doesn't really do much.
He's got like 6 attacks at damage 4 or something.
Yeah.
So you're going Death Guard fourth.
I would say for fun playing and matching playstyle of like the narrative, yeah.
So I think Death Guard fourth. Joe thinks Thousand Suns fourth, unless in the hands of competent players, then Death Guard fourth.
Yeah.
So I think between us we can agree Death Guard fourth.
Yeah.
Right, which is a shame for Death Guard players. Probably one of the most stunning ranges of models in the 40k universe. I think I don't like all the nurgling things, but a
They're
lot of people
definitely
love
winning on model range.
it.
Yeah. In terms of.
Yeah,
They have the
probably
most
are.
stuff.
They
Yeah.
probably are.
But because like, the problem is they got hit really badly by the indirect rule change.
Kind of.
Because they
got their Plague Burst
The Plague
crawlers.
Burst crawler was an incredible indirect piece, and now not so good.
So who you put in third place, Joe?
Thousand Suns. Like yeah.
Yeah?
Thousand Suns, yeah.
You think they're worse than World Eaters and Emperor's Children,
Yeah.
even in the hands of competent players?
Yeah.
Why?
Because like for the same reason I said a bit, because the moment you use stuff, the army hits a massive decline, and Magnus is one of the better Primarch models, I think, in terms of rules wise, because he's always hitting on twos, he's always wounding on twos, basically, but he's a lot of points to put him on the table.
He is, yeah.
Which doesn't leave you with a huge amount of options, like to fill in the rest of the army.
Yeah.
It's like much like at World Eaters, you either have him and you do okay, or you don't have him and the army becomes a lot better. But then, if you don't have him, you lose the Cabal points.
I actually think Magnus is like the opposite though. If you don't have Magnus, I think you just can't really play Thousand Suns.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, the 4 Cabal points is huge.
And his rules is so insanely good. I think he's the only Primarch I would say that is just absolute auto-include every single time.
Yeah.
But you are right. The amount of points he costs, it does significantly restrict the stuff you can take. I was talking to Tom recently with World Eaters lists, and the second you start taking Angron out, the amount of stuff you can get in
Oh, it's so nice.
is mad good.
Yeah.
And you lose that big distraction kind of fix and you use that big damage dealing lunatic.
Yeah.
But you get so much stuff that potentially competitively, no Angron is possibly a better choice.
Yeah.
I think after this weekend, I'm probably not going to run Angron at tournaments for at
you
least
run them this
a while.
weekend?
No, so I did the Vessels of Wrath this weekend with essentially the 2 Brigands and then a bunch of 8-bound and Demon Prince and stuff. Won all 3 games, amazingly. Which is better than I've done with Angron in a long time. So
You didn't get trapped in jail in the corner.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably you'd try that.
But I think, but there was a 60 man RTT. So despite winning 3, you still
still
only
came
came.
sixth.
You still came 6th.
Yeah. 60 people for an RTT seems excessive.
I think it's too much. So it's good for, because you said it's really good for ITC points.
Yeah, it's good if you care about ranking.
If you care about rank, but I think for an RTT, I think the sweet spot is 24 people.
But you'd probably argue that the people selling the tickets want to sell.
Oh yeah, like if you want to make, like, I think in terms of having a quality event where you get a very clear winner, and like unless you get at the end, you can potentially have 3 people on wins,
Yeah, you
depending
can,
on
you can.
matchups, but you can end up with like 2 winners and a draw, or 1 guy and a win and then some draw. So it's a lot more easier to see. This is the person who is a definitive winner.
I mean, you're still a definitive winner
yeah.
if you do win a 60-man RTT
I think-
because you've scored more points.
Yeah, but I think at 60 man, events for RTTs, it's all about who scores the most points
Yeah.
every round. So I think that then kind of enforces a lot more, for lack of a better word, dickishness in terms of like
It
it
definitely
becomes a
can.
lot more win at all costs because you're like, I have to get 100 to 98 points every game.
I definitely prefer an event where at the end of the weekend, one individual and only one individual has been able to win all the games.
Yeah.
I definitely prefer that as an event. And I don't know what the number sweet spot is for that.
It's pretty tough,
in
honestly.
GTs and stuff. It's quite low, isn't it?
It'll be real low, yeah.
It's like 40-man GTs or whatever.
Yeah,
I
it'll
think.
be like no super major will manage that.
Yeah, but unless they do multiple rounds and
Oh
brackets
yeah,
and all
so
sorts.
I think what the big UKTC ones do is they take like the top 8 or something.
Yeah,
after 5
and they put them
rounds,
into like a.
and they do a
yeah.
couple more rounds.
Yeah.
So you've gone Thousand Sons third then straight away.
Yeah.
Do you agree with him?
Is this like in terms of fun to play or strength?
Well, we can
straight.
we can go for both. So
I'd say fun to play. They are third, just because of how they are very difficult, and that will appeal to Thousand Sons players because they all think they are the big brain.
Yeah.
In terms of like competitivity, I think I'd put Emperor's Children third, to be honest.
really,
Yeah. I think Thousand Sons could beat Emperor's Children.
okay.
If it's like same skill level.
So let's assume same skill level for
Yeah.
now. I think let's for the first ranking then. Let's go on. Players are all very competent players, same skill level. So
Yeah.
we all agree Death Guard fourth, but then you're not agreeing Thousand Sons third. So Joe goes Thousand Sons third. You go
I
Emperor's
would
Children
say Emperor's
third.
Children, yeah.
Interesting. I think Thousand Sons are quite good in the right hands.
I feel like someone like Paddy running them, they're really, really good because he's kind of got the brain for it. But like, I think over a 5 or 6 game tournament, I think the level of mental fatigue, like most people would suffer. Like,
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
100%.
like the mistakes will be coming in day 2.
yeah,
And
but
also, like,
If we're talking about
Yeah,
equal
but-
competency,
but I think the problem is
Same.
that they're very much a shooting army, and
Yeah.
their combat is Magnus and the Terminators, but the Terminators don't have an incredibly reliable combat.
they're not really taking Terminators anyway, to be
are
honest.
you forgetting about Zangor, Joe, with chainswords?
And the Mutilith Vortex Beast.
Yeah, I think the problem is like with Thousand Sons, they're also stuck in a position where, in terms of like when you see multiple Thousand Sons at a tournament, which is rare,
Yeah, there's not many.
but when you see them, they're basically all running the exact same list.
Yeah, true.
It's like 1 or 2 Mutileths,
Magnus,
Magnus, and then just 6 units of 5 Rubric Marines, all with flamers, and then some chumps.
Yeah,
And
they
then
usually
games.
have the named guy.
And then
Harriman.
sorcerers, yeah,
And
and then all your
sorcerers.
characters.
What's the Infernal Masters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Flying Zangor guy.
Yeah, I just think that the problem is they're in a very stagnant position at the moment. They have
That is true.
like Death Guard. I put them last. Have multiple play styles and options. They've got different Terminator lists. You can have all infantry, Plague Marine lists. You can have drone. You can have all these different styles. But Thousand Sons are you have one list which works.
True.
If you deviate from that list, it kind of becomes much less good.
But you still want them in third place.
I still think they beat Emperor's Children, to be honest,
Okay.
in terms of like winning.
And you've got them in third place. Thousand
Thousand
Sons.
Sons, yeah.
Interesting. I don't know where I'd place them. Because on their day, their damage output can be crazy good. So
I just think like all the flamers in that just rinse through all your noise marines and like.
I also
battle
think
IDs.
I also do think though that lots of armies will not find it too difficult to drop Magnus in a turn nowadays.
I don't know. I still think he's super tough.
He is very, very tough. But you know, the vehicle meta has been a thing for a while. So
Yeah.
lots of people are kitted out to take down big vehicles, big monsters in a turn. Fire dragons will have no problems with Magnus, really. You know, I say that the 4-up invent does make it quite
4-up
swingy.
one, blank and a save, reroll him on for free. It does start to stack up.
It does, yeah.
Like I've charged Angron into Magnus like 5 times, never killed him.
But then that's now leading me to think about putting him above third place if he's that tanky, because he is how the army operates. So it's a tough one.
He suffers from the same problem as Custodes, though. It's like you either roll 4s or you don't.
So for me, the one that I'm
Oh,
debating
yeah.
about is whether I put them in third, or, interestingly, because this is what you've already said, whether I put Emperor's Children in third. So you and I are going to agree now that World Eaters are top of the 4 main.
It seems that
legions,
way, doesn't it? Yeah.
which obviously is probably slightly biased because we both play them.
I'm so biased, but I do. But I think I have enough experience to back it up a little bit, at least.
I think the thing is with World Eaters, if you talk about them again, we're talking competitively, same level of competency, right? They operate with Magnus, with Angron. They operate without Angron. Vessels of Wrath and
That's the thing,
Berserker
you have-
Warband are both great detachments. Both have lots of play and decent stratagems. I'll go as far as to say that, Angron is nowhere near an auto take. In fact, arguably they're better without him. And because you have access to things like Brigands, and because you can take things like Forge Fiends with Angron's rerolls, actually, World Eaters can do really well in shooting as well.
They can do shooting.
Where I would suggest Emperor's Children are slightly struggling, with the exception of Noise Marines. Don't get Forge Fiends. Or Predators.
They don't get any guns, bar,
Well, thing is
noise
though,
marines, essentially.
they're not lacking in damage 3 because Noise Marines have got damage 3, Demon Prince is damage 3, Lucius is damage 3. Like they've got it there. I think the problem is the secret source of World Eaters currently, who is their biggest and best game piece on the table, is the Demon Prince that can move through walls.
Yeah,
He is the great changer of things.
I absolutely love him now. After playing this RTT, easily the most impactful thing in my army was just having a Demon Prince handed out 4-up invuns to exalt 8 bounds.
Because he was okay, but not great.
No, he was bad.
Before he could, because he could move through walls. So 8 bound would just turbo run through walls.
He was one of those.
And he'd be left behind.
He was just flat bad before.
He was one of those units that, because of the invuln bubble, I was trying to fit him into to World Eaters lists.
Yeah.
Because I looked at that bubble of invuns and went, I want that in the list.
Yeah.
I want Berserkers having 5-up invulnerable save in the open. I want 8 bound having a 4-up invulnerable save. I want him in
Jackal's
the
getting
list.
5-up invuln as well.
Yeah, but. And I was absolutely trying to justify double Demon Princes, honestly. And I was looking at lists as to whether I could go Berserker Horde, 0 tanks, all on foot, double Demon Princes for that 5-up invuln bubble. The problem is, your Berserkers are going to want to use cover and move through cover. Fine, cool, okay. Demon Princes can't. And that was the big problem I was finding, is that you go, turn 1, I've got my invuln bubble. The second I start moving out and I start staging for turn 2 or 3, I lose the invuln bubble because I can't keep the Demon Prince with him without just getting stuck in a ruin and I can't go anywhere, lads, off you go. Now, that one in Vessels of Wrath that can get that move through walls enhancement, he is exceptional.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah. So I really rate him. I think they're a bit points expensive, but... I think with that enhancement now, it's worth it.
There's so many good combos of him in that detachment, though, because you can also just give him flats -1 to wound against shooting for a T10 2-up 4-up guy.
So I think World Eaters, I would put it's first or second. They swap very specifically against what armies they play against. Did you play against any armies with a lot of infiltrate? Or any infiltrate?
Yeah, Nurglin's round 1. Eldar, whatever weird Eldar, have infiltrate round 2.
Ranges and striking scorpions.
Guard didn't do any infiltrate.
Yeah, I think guard armies that don't have rattlings are hindering themselves.
You reckon?
nowadays.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Quite cheap as well, aren't they?
They're super cheap. I think 2 to 5 rattlings will change how guard work fundamentally. I think.
But I've been, I think pretty much every competitive game I've played with World Eaters in the last year, I've probably been infiltrated against.
Yeah.
I don't really care anymore.
The AdMech one was the trouble for you, wasn't it?
Because
they have 60 infiltrating ranges.
AdMech's just in that matchup, Angron literally held me back so much because I'd have rather had 3 units hitting them at the same time rather than him killing 1 unit of 10 dudes.
I think if you can get around infiltrators efficiently, I think World Eaters come first. Because they're just so oppressive. Because they're an incredible... Because you can get +2 move on a movement 8 unit.
9.
Movement 9 unit, right?
With Scout.
There's cool, I'm just going to be everywhere all the time. And toughness 6, 3 wounds, 6-up feel no pain.
5-up feel no pain.
5-up feel no pain on the
Exalted.
Exalted is the single most infuriating profile to deal
And
with.
imagine,
especially
if
when
they
you've
had
got
a
18
4-up
of them.
invul as well.
Yeah, and then you've got a 4-up invul. So when there's like 18 of them,
Yeah.
it's like, cool, I don't know how you efficiently deal with that apart from just mortal wound spam. But no one can put out enough mortal wounds to deal with it.
That's the thing. The Fight Feeling of Pain covers that anyway.
Yeah.
I do sort of agree with you because if you have a heavy infiltrate army that just blocks your turn 1, but I think that heavy infiltrate army has to be backed up with relatively decent firepower.
Yeah.
Because if you block turn 1 but you can't kill enough stuff, cool, I've killed your infiltrate screen, and then turn 2 I'm still going to get in your face.
So one of the things I've been saying a lot recently is that I don't like massively using all shooting armies that's not backed up by combat, because the biggest problem about shooting armies is you have to be able to see your opponent, and because world eaters don't have shooting, the entire army just lives behind walls.
Yep.
Until it wants to come out and
touch you.
And what it does is it goes, and you don't like a good world eaters player won't go have a unit. They go, you have no units for a turn or two, and then you have all of my units, but all my units are touching all of your units, so it doesn't matter anymore. But I think with the new Emperor's Children, I think if there was like a mirror match and someone bought 20, 30 infiltrator guys, I think.
When you say a mirror match, do you mean World Eaters versus Emperor's
Well,
Children?
yeah, World Eaters versus Emperor's Children. I think if Emperor's Children have a lot of the infiltrator people to kind of keep you pinned in your deployment zone like for 3 turns to score as many points as they can, and then the World Eaters just come and table you turn 4. But I think
I don't
you don't know if
think
you've got enough points.
I don't think the infiltrate is enough to stop it, to be honest, just because like you're all 2 wound space marines, and that's the easiest thing to kill in the world for pretty much any World Eaters unit.
I do. So I think for me, and we'll see what you two think. I think for me, I'm going Death Guard last, World Eaters first.
I'd say so.
I actually probably, contrary, I've been reading what chat's been saying. I think people are going to wildly disagree with me. I would probably put Thousand Sons above Emperor's Children.
Yeah.
So I look at the Emperor's Children detachment and I look at the stratagems, and I quite like a lot of what they have access to.
Yeah.
But the data sheets on the whole, for me at least, are just relatively underwhelming.
Yeah.
Noise Marines do have good output. They do. But I think they're still a little underwhelming. They've got a bit of a lack of AP in there as well, unless you put them in a specific detachment.
Games Workshop's got this real big thing about if it ignores cover, it's only AP1.
Yeah, and then you've got the Flawless Blades, 3 attacks at 2 damage, and nothing better than that. And I'm sat out there at the moment building. I was, as well as building the second track for the Lord of Skulls.
Yeah.
I also had 2 8-bound models that I tried to kit bash into Masters of Executions. I've subsequently decided I don't like them as Masters of Executions, so I ripped the bits off of them that weren't right, and I've rebuilt them as proper Exalted 8-bound. And you look at their profile with their chain fists, and I know they're only 2 damage, but at least they have exceptional strength compared to.
I love playing against someone who hasn't played against World Eaters before and just saying, yeah, they're strength 14.
Yeah.
And they're like,
Base.
what?
Base. And I look at
They're only damage 2 though, isn't it?
Yeah, AP 3 2 damage.
Yeah, but so the 3 attacks. 3 attacks?
Yeah.
3 attacks at strength 14, damage AP 3, 2 damage, as opposed to the Flawless Blades, who are 3 attacks at strength 6 or 8?
6.
AP 3, 2 damage?
Yeah.
So how come World Eaters have got basically more than double your strength?
The beauty of Exalted is they also have 2 attack profiles, because you could also have 5 attacks at strength 6 AP 2 damage 2.
Exactly. Right? So they, and of course, you'd imagine why they are, in fact, pointed wildly differently, aren't they?
There's about 45 point different or something, maybe even 50.
Is that enough for how good they are?
50 points is quite a lot.
Yeah. But in Unit 6, you've got 2 people who are strength 14, AP 3, damage 2, twin linked.
There's only one.
No, only
There's only ever one.
Only the champion.
Only the
gets it.
champion.
I thought it was 1 in every 3.
I wish, mate. That'd be insane.
Yeah.
But let's come away from Exalted 8-bound then, and let's go to what is probably a slightly closer comparison, Standard 8-bounds, right? And they're probably a slightly closer comparison. They also have a 5-up invulnerable save.
Yep.
They have no feel no pain, but they get more attacks.
Oh, yeah, way more.
So they get 5 attacks at strength 6, damage, AP 3, damage 2.
The 2 little ones get 6 attacks, strength 5, AP 2 damage 2.
Sorry, strength 5, AP 2, damage 2. Strength 6 is in Berserker Warband, isn't it?
Yeah,
On the charge.
yeah.
But then you get the champion who gets his lacerators. He gets damage 3, Joe.
Strength 4 attacks, strength 9, AP 2 damage 3.
Yeah.
And again, they're even closer in points, aren't they? Pretty much.
They are 30 points ish difference.
They
also have Scout.
It wouldn't surprise me if Weldy has got toned down in the new book.
Maybe
They either stay the same or they get toned down. I don't see them getting much in the way of buffs.
I don't see them getting toned down. They're not winning events all over the place.
they're at a 40% win rate.
Yeah, they're at a low win rate.
40%?
Yep.
I wonder why that is.
I think it's because some people play World Eaters how the lore intends them to be played.
I think also I think they do have really hard counters, unfortunately.
Oh, definitely.
Which an army that has a really hard rock paper scissors hard counter is never going to hit a high win rate because it can't beat that hard counter normally.
Yeah.
Like -1 damage is a nightmare.
That's
any
a
one in
problem,
the
yeah.
game.
So I think I put Wild Eaters first. I think I put Death Guard in fourth. I would probably place Thousand Suns just above Emperor's Children at the moment, in my opinion.
I think the middle two are like incredibly matchup dependent.
I think the problem is that I probably agree that Emperor's Children probably comes second as a third because Emperor's Children over Thousand Suns have just filled so many more units. Emperor's Children is an MSU army all the way.
Okay.
So you can field loads and loads and loads of really cheap units that are just everywhere.
Yeah.
And the Thousand Suns don't have enough shooting to deal with it all. So once the Emperor's Children get into the Thousand Suns, it becomes a problem for them because Emperor's Children can just go in, tag stuff, and then fall back and shoot and charge.
I suppose as
Whereas
well.
Thousand Suns can be like, I can teleport a unit out of combat and then shoot it, but the other stuff that's in combat is stuck.
I suppose as well, Emperor's Children do have that beauty. If we had a direct matchup, because you're talking about direct matchup here rather than how they stand in the wider 40k. If you have a direct matchup, Emperor's Children do have that benefit of having a significant access to precision.
Yeah.
And if you start taking those sorcerers or sergeants down, you start losing cabal points.
Yeah.
And then the army starts to struggle. So I guess that kind of makes sense in a direct matchup. But let's imagine it wasn't a direct matchup. Just say Emperor's Children versus the rest of the 40k universe, Thousand Suns versus the rest of the 40k universe. Do you still put Emperor's Children above Thousand Suns then?
Yeah. Right, so okay, if I go by the way I play the game, right?
Oh no. I'd love to see you play Thousand Suns.
Until Emperor's Children, I never field battle line.
Okay,
it's rare for me to field more than one battle line unit in an army.
Yeah.
Unless like I'm running guard or something.
Or old Flesh Terrors, Assault Intercessors.
Yeah. But that was like one unit
Yeah, okay.
kind of thing. Maybe two at the best. Whereas Emperor's Children, you're taking anywhere between 4 and 6 battle line units because they're just really efficient at what they do. And because you have more units than everyone else, your opponent's going, I would deal with those Tormentors or I would deal with those Infractors, but there's bigger threats to deal with. And I've found that every game I've ran them in, I'm scoring better than I normally do because I've got more resources to do actions and secondaries.
Does this change when you finally have access to Fulgrim Lucius, the Lord Cacophonist, and the Flawless Blades? Do you? Because I know what you're saying right now, and I'm seeing you take all these battle line units, but what we're also doing is we're not proxying other units on the channel. We're not proxying Flawless Blades. We're not proxying Lucius. When you get access to all of that stuff, you must have written lists already, either in your head or on paper, as if you had access to everything. Does that change then?
Not massive. So at the moment, I've got a 400 to 500 point hole to fill.
Okay.
In every list I've done.
Hence Land Raider and now potentially Big Flaming Knight.
And the Big Flaming Knight, yeah. So I've dropped the Land Raider, I've dropped a unit of Tormentors, I've dropped Tormentors, the Land Raider, and a few other bits. And my core army hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. I've just got a massive gap.
Yeah.
Where the moment we get Fulgrim, Lucius, Flawless Blades, they just go boop straight into that hole.
Do you think Fulgrim's an auto take for Emperor's Children?
Nah.
No.
Do you think he's an auto take for Death Guard, for Mortarion?
No.
No.
Are we saying that Magnus is the only auto take?
I think so. I think Magnus is 100%. Angron, it's like if you play Berserker Warband, I would strongly recommend using him. then
I think if we're calling Magnus the only auto take, then maybe I would potentially drop Thousands down to third place.
Maybe.
I don't like having one auto take big model, but then saying that World Eaters, you could argue 8-bound and Exalted 8-bound specifically are auto takes, but they're not one model, right? They're multiple units.
Yeah, and like they're auto take because we only have like 5 units as well.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, and when you look at them, you go, you have to take Magnus for your army to realistically function and do stuff. Fulgrim and Angron, they're kind of take it or leave it, but you take them if you want to have fun.
I think Fulgrim is the least auto include.
Really?
Well, I would have said that.
At least Mortarion helps the army.
He helps the army, but the problem is that once the stuff dies around him, you might as well just not have him on the table.
If the stuff dies around him, you've lost.
That's an interesting take, right? So you're saying Mortarion is more of an auto take because he helps the army.
Yeah.
I would say it's the other way round for me. So
you can just wander
because
off.
Lucius doesn't need any support or need to support anything. He just Fulgrim. He just goes off and does his own thing and he operates on his own.
Yeah.
Which means you haven't got to muck about with, am I in range? You can just go at missile, off he goes.
And the thing is, if you like, I need to take that objective, you know that Fulgrim can probably go and take that objective. Whereas you go,
I don't know if
Mortarion go, I could try and take that objective.
give it a crack.
You know, but there's 3 Blade Guard on it, so don't expect much, you know? Whereas Fulgrim could probably pick up 3 Blade Guard.
Fulgrim definitely is much more killy.
Yeah.
But also he's a bit more points, isn't he? Isn't he? Like he's up there.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can put the damage and the hurt out there.
I don't know if he does he's
self-sufficient. Yeah, but compared to Mortarion.
Oh yeah,
his
Mortarion's like down there.
Yeah.
Magnus is like through the roof.
Oh, poor Mortarion.
He's sad, isn't he?
He is sad.
Give him a buff for God's sake.
Which is, I think he's like my second favourite Primarch model.
Oh yeah.
The model is so beautiful, and yet he's just so poo.
For Mortarion as well, way tougher than Fulgrim. Like way tougher.
Yeah. Like he absolutely takes a beating. Like he'll just sit there and just take it.
So does Fulgrim.
But
he does just sit there and take it.
He just sits there and takes it. He just doesn't punch anyone back.
He goes, cool, you've had a good turn, do it again.
Whereas
he helps his friends.
Whereas like Fulgrim will go in there, he'll take a beating and he'll kill the unit that he wants to go and kill.
What is Mortarion's
unless it's like
points these
an
days?
Imperial
It's like 300.
Knight or something. Like Fulgrim, but Fulgrim can deal with most mid-level units like your.
He could definitely kill 5 intercessors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just.
So I'm going to go, based on our conversation, I'm going to go World Eaters for me top, Emperor's Children second, and I've kind of just changed my mind on that, having come into the stream thinking differently. Thousands as third, Death Guard fourth.
Yeah, same.
You agree?
Yeah.
Tom?
Yeah, World Eaters first. I actually do think Emperor Children second. Mainly because they currently have 6 detachments. One of them could be insane and no one's figured out yet because we don't even have the model range. Whereas Thousand Suns have 1 real detachment and 1 that may as well have gone in the bin.
Yes, the Grotmus one is not really worth it.
Then Death Guard are just sad. And they've been sad for a long time.
Sad nurgling noises.
They're just getting cheaper and cheaper in points, and that's not what anyone wants.
So what I'd love for you guys to do right now, we're about to jump into chat, what I'd love for you guys right now to do, and you can do this on a £5 super chat, is give us your ranking 1 to 4. If you spend more, you can also tell us why that ranking is, but you feel no obligation to. We're also up to a massive 17 members on the Liam, Tom and Joe show. If you want to really support the channel, really support the show, really support the work we're going to do here, the best way to do that is by becoming a member or by gifting memberships. We normally have a target of 100 per stream, so we can expand and do more things in the future. So if you want to support us, that's a great way of doing it. We're going to jump into chat right now, though. Unless you want to add anything before we go.
Because you said you're going to do what's your favourite law? Your law one.
Oh,
your
yeah. Law-wise.
Law and order.
I don't feel qualified to talk about it. I struggled to get through the book Fulgrim in the Horus Heresy.
Yeah.
I struggled to get through that one. I have done Lords of Silence, which is a 40k Death Guard one, which I actually really liked and really enjoyed. I fucking love... what's the World Eaters Heresy one that I told you?
Betrayer.
Betrayer.
Betrayer
I
is the
love
best one I've ever
Betrayer.
read.
Adored Betrayer. haven't really listened to anything Thousand Sons narrative-wise, to be honest with you.
What about Iskandar Kaon? He's not really Thousand
He's
Sons.
Black Legion.
Yeah.
Iskandar Kaon is a fucking baller.
Yeah.
But he's ex-Thousand Sons, now Black Legion.
Well, I've done Betrayer, done Fulgrim, done Agent Exterminatus, which is mainly Fulgrim as well, and I've not really done any Mortarion stuff, but I have done the.
I've got the
the Thousand Sons side of the Prospero Burns, whatever it's called. I think it's
called
called Thousand Sons, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've done that as well.
So I've also done, is it the Indomitus Crusade stuff with Mortarion? And I really hated the way they portrayed Mortarion in that. So for me, World Eater's lore is top. I can't play Thousand Sons, Lord of Silence I really liked, but then the Indomitus stuff I really hated for Mortarion. So I can't. You're probably best placed.
I'm going to go Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons, World Eaters, Death Guard.
What? Why? Why that?
So-
Out of interest?
Emperor's Children have actually got personality, and they've got a really good selection of loyalists and traitors within them.
Okay.
If you look at the heresy books, they're really good, but in terms of like current 40k lore, they're really well placed in terms of being everywhere. Even if you include someone like Fabulous Bile,
You're not allowed in.
you're not allowed in, but
Fabulous Bill.
Fabulous Bill, that they're a bit wild, eccentric, and they're a bit all over the place. They do stuff, and like they're just a bit like crazy in the sense that like depending on what books you look at, they're either incredible, they're just insane drug addicts, or they're really into music, or they're like exquisite swordsmen kind of thing.
Yeah.
And their war bands are kind of spread everywhere, and they're all just pretentious asses essentially. Like I really like the Thousand Sons in Heresy. They've got really good lore, but in 40k, I think they struggle because you've got 4 or 5 sorcerer characters in most of the books who talk about books, and the rest is just automaton.
Yeah, true.
Rubric's like they walked around and they shot things, or they're like, go stand there, do that thing. So like the Thousand Sons books are quite talky, but they have a really solid like background. With World Eaters, and I think I can't stand Angron in the books.
You've often referred to him as a whiny little bitch.
It's all he does.
It's ironic, isn't
Daddy
it?
saved me. I wanted to. That's all he does. Every book, he just goes around kicking dustbins
Are
and
you
throwing stuff off
suggesting
tables.
that if an individual just moans all the time, they're really fucking irritating?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Look at you.
Interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, because
Interesting
I complain
perspective.
about a variety of things, whereas like
So you could complain about everything, but if
Yeah.
you complain about how you've had literally the shittest life that's possible to have, that's being a whiny bitch.
Well, it wasn't that terrible.
What are you on about?
Right, he was a slave and he was having a great, wonderful
Oh yeah,
time.
that's all right.
Sounds
Right?
great.
He was
Everyone loves being a slave gladiator. fighting
Hot
for your
take,
life
Joe's going to
every
get
day.
himself cancelled. He thinks slaves are okay.
Yeah,
No, I'm not saying it's okay. But
he's finally done it.
But what I'm saying is that in the books, he enjoyed being. He enjoyed the brotherhood. And he
What
had
are
his
you on? He
rebellion.
did enjoy being a slave.
And then he was having a wonderful time. And then he wanted to die during his rebellion. And then all he does for 10,000 years.
he literally
is
reenacted Spartacus, which
Yeah.
is like one of your favourite things.
yeah.
So why do you?
And they had a great time shaving each other. You know.
Yeah.
I think. But the thing is that like every book, he's just like a slavering beast that complains about being alive the entire book. Anything with Khan in, I love. I really
love
like Khan.
Khan, yeah.
Khan's great.
Zatara.
So what we're kind
Yeah.
of saying is, Angron is your kindred spirit.
No,
Do you not like him because he's too close to home?
probably. I really like his model.
Oh, I
Out of
fucking
all,
love his model, yeah.
so excluding one, I've painted all the Primarchs.
Wait, so you're saying you prefer Fulgrim because you're saying Angron complains too much and is too whiny,
Yeah,
and Fulgrim's never complained or been whiny at all.
nah.
Interesting
He's just
perspective.
great all the time. And but no, I think in terms of the ones I've painted,
Bit of bias,
out of all the Primarchs, Angron does have the best Primarch model.
He's my favourite, but
You
I'm
reckon
biased.
he's better than Mortarion? As a model? I prefer Angron.
Yeah.
But if as a model, I sort of think Mortarion's better.
I think if you just
I didn't
literally
enjoy
go,
painting Mortarion though.
I think so. Here's what I think. Right, I think personally, Magnus's Primarch model is a bit dull and boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't really offer anything. I prefer the big spear, but I'm never going to fit the big spear because I don't want to snap every time I take it anywhere.
Yeah.
I then look at Mortarion and Angron. We can't comment on Fulgrim yet, but I look at Mortarion and Angron, and I prefer Angron.
Yeah.
And I was one of those people when I saw the images of it, I was like, not a fan. Having seen it up close, you painted it, having built it myself, I love the fucking thing. I think it's incredible. But I think Mortarion being up, having 2 poses that you can build, I just think he's a better model overall, personally. That comes with a slight caveat. If you do things like leave the wings off to paint it and try and glue them on afterwards, it's a fucking nightmare.
Also, how he's attached to the base can do one.
but I kind of like it from a visual perspective. It's cool because he's up in the air on his wings.
Yeah.
Yes, from a modelling perspective, it's a bit of a nightmare.
Yeah. Someone's read him. I like Mortarion's a good model, but I think Angron's the best.
Okay.
Fulgrim is my least favourite.
Yeah.
I'll need to see him in person
Yeah.
and have a play with the kit. I think I'm going to really like Fulgrim.
At current time of only seeing Warhammer community pictures, he's my least favourite. So it's probably wrong.
Yeah.
And Death Guard in the books I really struggle with.
I really liked pre-heresy Death Guard.
Yeah.
And like Nathaniel Garrow, the Chad.
Yeah.
But like, it's really hard to like anything about them when they get corrupted.
The problem with Death Guard is the consequences of Death Guard being on the battlefield are much more exciting than Death Guard themselves.
Agree.
Right?
Strong
so with them
agree.
being on this, like, all the pestilence affects all the humans, all the terrible things. In Siege of Terror, Typhus releases like a demon into the underground of the palace, and the demon basically corrupts the imperial faith. So they use their own religion against them. So they end up worshipping a demon and not the emperor. Great sub-story. But that's not the Death Guard doing that. That's a demon that they've released kind of thing. I'm listening to the Fabulous Bill books at the moment, and there's a Death Guard character in it. I don't like him. He's really like boring, but he's got a pet Beast of Nurgle that goes around with him, and I like the Beast of Nurgle. He's just running around being silly.
I had an email, by the way.
Yeah,
Fulgrim Transfigured is back in stock.
Really? You know you want to.
We'll see what happens with the
Interesting.
fan funding on this show.
Yeah? Does it get better?
They got 45 minutes to go. What's that?
45 minutes.
I might
to
treat
buy
you.
Joe a Fulgrim Transfigured.
I might treat you, Joe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm in a good mood today.
Yeah?
That's good.
I'm not. I'm lying. I'm trying to be in a good mood today.
Yeah.
I'm in a grumpy mood today, really. Gareth, thank you for becoming a Jarl tier member all by yourself. Before the stream even started, thank you so much. You're an absolute legend. What a hero. We are trying to fix the Jarls only giveaway. The bot's broke. We don't know why.
You'd really enjoy the Fabulous Bill books. Solid Harlequin involvement in both books.
Oh, really?
So far, yeah. If you like Harlequins and you're struggling to find Harlequin books, Fabulous Bill.
Harlequin narrative's cool as shit as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thank you anyway for becoming a Jarl tier member. We do monthly Jarl giveaways. They're currently on pause only because the bot is broken and we've got a ticket open to try and get that bot fixed. If they don't fix it soon, before the end of the month, I shall be finding another bot that we can use to run a giveaway so we can sort it out and get you people your giveaways up and running again. So fear not, it is coming. We'll get it fixed at some point or get it sorted or resolved somehow. But at the moment it's broken. So Lively Panda, thank you for the 5. He says, in all respects, Thousand Suns and Zeech are trash. 5th place somehow. That's a hot take.
So, I really like the model range of both. No, actually, that's a lie. I really like the Thousand Suns model range. I painted the army. Never again.
The Exalted Sorcerer
horrible.
kit is one of my favourite things.
I think rubrics are too small.
I kind of went off. Well, ironically, rubrics when they were designed. Fun fact for everyone: when rubrics were designed, they were designed knowing that Primaris Marines are coming along. So they were scaled up at the time to match similar to...
Well, they look smaller than like Chaos Marines.
Well, they're bigger than Chaos. They're bigger than the Chaos Marines that were around at the time. They're around the same size as the new-ish Chaos Marines. Because once they were done, Deathwatch came at the same time, and Deathwatch was scaled up.
Right.
So they were scaled knowing that the new stuff was bigger, but they couldn't be bigger than Primaris Marines because they were still based on marks 2 to 6. But I kind of went off Tzeentch in general. Never really liked the demon range.
I don't
Space
like
Marine
Tzeentch.
2 has done a lot of
Really?
heavy lifting for Tzeentch for me, because I've now at a stage where I want to buy Zangor.
I'd have thought you hated them more because they kill you all the time.
I love Zangor on floaty discs.
Yeah.
With bow and arrows.
I tried building a Zangor army for AOS when they released all the Zangor Enlightened. I think I tried for about a long weekend, because I got it on a bank holiday. Took them back to work and traded them all in for credit. Because at the time I worked in a shop that bought second-hand models. They're horrible to build and paint.
So I've never surprised. I haven't painted them. But I never had a problem building them. I can build them all for you.
Building them is fine, but you have to build them in sub-assemblies.
Yeah.
And then the problem is if you try and do a lot, it becomes sub-assembly hell.
Yes.
You have to do a unit at a time.
Yeah. Which is not a way you like to operate, is it?
Well, the problem
Not
is
normally.
if I was building them for fun and painting them for fun as a project, as a slow grow, I don't think it would be a problem. But because I build and paint armies, it becomes much less good. Because I'm like, how do I get this out efficiently and quickly?
Yeah, of course.
And they become much less efficient.
Okay. I think it's a hot take. 5th place is saying that they're trash and worse than Death Guard is an interesting. I don't know if I can ever agree with that, quite honestly.
Thousand Sons are my least favourite army, just in general.
Also, I would rate Tzeentch quite high in Age of Sigmar. I know we're not talking about Age of Sigmar, but their rules in Age of Sigmar are really good.
So your Thousands is your worst favourite out of the 4?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't like the magic stuff.
Okay.
Just don't like magic in 40k.
Even though the magic
generally.
just doesn't really exist anymore with the lack of psychic
Yeah, but
trace.
I'm talking about like the identity of the army and like Magnus being a magic man and all the characters being magic people.
I love magic.
I'm not really into it. No.
No.
Not my vibe.
Really bugged me. I really enjoyed the Thousand Sons book.
They're just not very good at punching
It's
people.
great. But what...
I love you, Tom.
Yeah.
In fact, Magnus suffers from one of the most annoying superhero traits ever in Marvel and DC.
You got one eye.
No, he's super incredibly powerful and can disintegrate people with
That
his
is a
mind.
problem.
But he complains about he's got too much power. He can't use his power because he's too powerful.
It's so random how they power scale him as well. Like
Yeah.
sometimes he like disintegrates a Bane blade, and then sometimes he just gets beaten up.
Like in Thousand Sons, because he can change how big he is. He can just grow and shrink at will.
God, if only.
Right, and he just goes. He 1v2s 2 Revenant Titans. He grows massive and just beats the hell out of them. Great, and then he has like one fight where Lehman Russ breaks his spine. I was like, you literally grow to the size of a house and you stand on him. You know.
Yeah, but
Disintegrate him with your
there
mind.
was loads of like anti-magic stuff going on. I have no idea how effective it was, but there was some there.
Don't forget, Joe, that the cleverer people are often the less common sense they have.
Yeah.
So, it might be. That
So
might be
is
why.
Joe a genius?
No, he drew the short straw on both.
I've got good common sense. I just don't use it efficiently. I know what the right thing to do is. I just don't do it sometimes. Like if I want to go to a tournament and win it, but I can have fun and drink inappropriately.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that fun then runs out quite quickly, doesn't it, for you?
Yeah. It becomes the problem is
It goes from fun to hurt locker in a very short space of time.
Yeah. Although I was talking to Vince, Mr. Pleasant Kenobi, who's led me into a really good system when it comes to drinking at events.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is it?
I can't tell people because it implies a bit of a lie. Because what happens is people bring like shots to you all the time.
Yeah.
In fact, I tell people that. Right. people. So what you do is you just drink Coke all night.
Right.
And people, it's like a rum and Coke or whatever. But people would say you drink Coke all the time, and people just hand you shots. You're just doing like a few shots kind of thing throughout the night, and you're topping up on Coke. Whereas when I drink, and I just drink all the things. So I was like, I only do it at tournaments. I don't know why. I don't know why this started happening. I blame going to tournaments with you because I never had this problem before.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So like
You could say no.
the problem was like Beachhead. It's like I had 2 ciders in the hall, and then I had beer in the restaurant.
Yeah.
And then for some reason, Lee convinced me to start drinking gin and tonics.
Yeah. We say convinced. I think he said, "Do you want a gin and tonic, Joe?" And you said yes.
Yeah, but by then I'd had loads of cider and loads of beer.
Yeah.
And then people just started handing me stuff. Whereas I think now if I just drink Coke and then someone hands me the occasional shot, I'll drink it. But
I can't do that because I don't want to drink Coke. I want to drink beer.
but I want to not have a horrible day the next day. That's my problem.
Yeah, but I don't.
Yeah. I know you
Must be
don't
nice.
care. I know you. The problem is I care about things. Whereas, like, I'd be a millionaire if I had £1 every time you said the phrase "I don't care" over the last 3 years.
I don't care.
Yeah. So
It's a great way to
I do
live.
care. Silly.
Hot take. Farmer George, thank you for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Farmer George. I hope that your cows allow you to ride them. And you can just sit on. You don't need to
Ride
quad
them
bike.
in what way?
Just they're like, get on me, you know. You know, like in the films when the horse like lies on the floor and then the person like gets onto them, they stand up and go. Happens in Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
It has happened in other films.
Okay,
as well.
okay.
The Lord of the Rings is in all we're talking about.
Yeah. So if I need him to understand what I'm talking about
Lord of the
film
Rings,
reference,
yeah.
I have to use like one of 3 films.
Straight facts.
So
Have you seen any other films other than Lord of the Rings?
Iron Man 1.
Oh, okay.
Saving Private Ryan,
Saving Private Ryan.
Good film.
Seen that one. Yeah.
Gladiator.
No.
Buddy, come on.
Yeah, fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, Joe, pray my machinery does. Oh yeah, don't break any machinery either. But if it does break, I hope a cow fixes it.
Love it.
Like a cow.
You ever watch Cow and Chicken? That was great.
That was great.
I don't know what that
Like
is.
you're like,
They
oh,
were
this-
siblings.
I hope that you're like, oh no, this random piece of machinery, like insert name, stop working, and a cow just like,
Farmer George
But-
says,
just bumps
long
into-
story short, Joe, been there, done it, resulted in spinal surgery.
good. For the cow or you?
Well, he rode the cow then tried to ride him.
Oh.
Snap.
Well, I hope.
Thank you for the 5 gifted, Farmer George. For reference chat, we are a total at the moment of 48 gifted memberships. We're 2 away from 50 gifted memberships,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
What do you have to get to buy Fulgrim?
I'm not going to say that out loud
Oh,
because I'll get exactly there and stop. So,
but minimum 100.
what do you say, Joe? Possibly. Stick Monkey, thank you for the 5. He says, I think the death of the magic phase has ruined the fun of playing Thousand Suns. I miss it. This is interesting because I'm a person who has played Thousand Suns before and played Eldar a lot. And I have always been a person who loves the psychic phase and psychic stuff. And I used to really enjoy the psychic phase with Eldar. But in 9th edition, I hated the psychic phase with Thousand Suns.
It's so tedious.
It was, yes. So I sit on both sides of the fence. I fully understand why they've simplified the psychic phase into what they've done it into now, but it kind of doesn't really mean anything anymore. It doesn't really do anything apart from mean that you get saves against psychic weapons and you get the psychic keyword and then you get anti-psychic blah. I feel like the psychic phase has lost, or the psychic stuff has lost some of its identity.
Yeah.
Which I think is important if you are something like a Thousand Suns player, where predominantly you are around the magic, and that's what it's all about. The reason why Tom doesn't like them. I think there's lost some identity, but I think 9th edition psychic phase wasn't fun as you're describing it. I think that was for a lot of people. Paddy will tell you he didn't like taking them to tournaments because if you got it wrong, just the order you did things, if you got it wrong, it's like, oh, for fuck's sake.
But also, like,
It was also like, how many times can I use Smite?
it was also like a horrible way like they weren't fun to play with because you had to have a checklist of order of things to do, and if one thing changed, like a unit's dead or something's in the wrong place, that order has to change and you have to rework the system in terms of how you do it. But when you play against them, it was so boring, and it was like and like because most people would bring a Psyker, 2 Psyker, and they go, oh, okay, I'll cast a spell, it happens, and I'll go, I can't stop it, so I guess.
Well, Age of Sigmar does a good job of, if you're playing an army that has 0 psychic, they give you something similar, normally priests and prayers. And therefore, what they also do is, you don't have any psychics or any wizards, they give you mechanics in which allow you to try and deny and to interact with your opponent. What 40k never did well in the psychic phase, if you're playing World Eaters, or you're playing Tau, or you're playing perhaps guards, custodes. You sat there and just went, go on and do your psychic. And there's nothing you could do. And I didn't like that.
And then 1,000 times would be like, enjoy 32 mortal wounds from Smite. And you're like, this is horrible.
I actually think their current army rule psychic thing is better than their psychic phase was.
It speeds the game up.
And like they're the only one that really have a psychic phase anymore.
Yeah.
With the Cabal Point stuff.
Yeah, exactly. The Cabal Point thing, I think, is more fun for everyone, kind of, at least, than the psychic phase was.
But that's like an attempt at the psychic. Like with Eldar, the psychic phase is just gone.
Yeah, that's the
now
problem.
It's just unit abilities.
Most psychic armies don't have anything now, apart from like a gun.
Because there's no like, you don't even have to roll a 2+ anymore. You just go, Eldar does this Farseer does that, this Warlock does that, done.
The sad thing is, the psychic powers for Eldar have now been rolled into a data card ability. They don't get an extra ability because they're a Psyker. It's just that's their ability now. That being said, I would argue that things like Doom from Eldrad and Guide from Osea are very strong abilities. So I think that kind of counteracts the fact that they don't have a psychic ability anymore.
Biggie hugs, like Tyranids just feel different now. I really enjoyed the psychic phase when I was a Tyranid player, but it also like it really leaned into the army rule.
Peak Tyranid was a psychic phase that also used the synaptic link stuff.
So 9th edition Tyranids, you could target stuff that was in the hive mind, so in the bubble of the hive mind, so the synaptic link. So basically, you said this unit is in synapse range of that unit, and that unit is in synapse range of that unit. So you could create like daisy chains of abilities, so which was really, really cool. But the moment like a unit in the middle died, you couldn't go.
Broke the chain.
Broke the chain. It was really, really good system. It was like
quite narrative, like very narrative.
It was really narrative. Like the Swarm Lord, if he was on one side of the table, he could give a unit reroll hit rolls. And they could be on the other side of the table as long as you had the connection to them. If the connection wasn't there, you couldn't do it. And I was like, that's so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Also, the Zone of Hope Smite was insane.
That was stupid.
That was a bit much, I will admit. But because they got +1 to the casting roll for every Zone of Hope in the unit.
How many can you have?
6. And Smite was on a 5. So you just auto passed it, and then you got +1 mortal wound with Smite
for each
one in the unit.
So you could, if you casted it first on a 5, it was a super Smite.
Well, you could have cast. Surely you would though as well, because like it's automatically.
But the psychic rule changed, so every time you cast Smite, the cost increased.
Cost 1,
so you could wait and cast them later and go, I'm going to need a 9 now, but I've got +6. I just actually have to roll a 3.
Yeah.
Or you could do it at the start and go, I've rolled a 5, so I've got a super smite, and now that means it's D6 +6 mortals.
Farmer John, start Tyranids.
The D6 +6, but then plus another 6 for the unit.
Tyranids is an incredible fucking army.
And they could cast their powers through other units.
I never played against Tyranids in 9th edition, but I do remember when the Codex came out and they just battered everyone.
Well, part of that was the old, what's it called? Not the Hive Guard, the indirect guns.
Yeah, the Hive Guard it's like 2 shots indirect, but they were like -2 damage free.
Can we just get rid of indirect?
It should go.
No.
Please.
I'm going for a week.
No, because artillery exists. Artillery is a thing.
Been an hour now, can't complain.
I just don't think they have got it right yet. I don't hate the idea of indirect. I think there's too much of it.
Yeah.
But I think that like basilisks should definitely be able to shoot indirect to get it right. a lot of people will disagree with me with this one, which is fine. It was peak when it was blast templates.
Oh, yeah.
And you had to roll scatter dice and 2d6 because you're not guaranteed to hit anything. That was fine. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It less feels bad when you scatter your template than just I've rolled 3 2s, I've missed with everything.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah,
You don't just hit. You like have to. I'd also be okay if like you either hit on 6s or you hit on 4s with another unit looking at the unit you're shooting.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't think they have quite got it right yet, but
No, no.
You know, I think that I think that I wouldn't want to see it indirect removed from the game because I mean, part of modern warfare nowadays is indirect weapons, essentially,
true.
and artillery pieces, and it's a real important part of conflict in general. And I want to see it represented, but I want to see it done properly. You could argue, I guess, though, the scale in which you're playing on a tabletop, you're so close together that you wouldn't be using artillery at that point because you're too close.
Yeah, because you'd be like 7 miles away, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and that's probably
at something.
a bit too close to fighting
Little
each
bit,
other
yeah.
and then firing
'Cause you'd be going,
shells.
whoop, whoop.
Yeah. Wrong people.
Oops.
Yeah. Which is again where the blast template was great because if you scattered too far and hit your own blokes.
Yeah.
So in the old blast template rule, and this is where I don't know if I want the blast template back specifically because it caused too many arguments.
Yeah.
But in the old rule, if you had a unit here and an enemy unit is like here on the tabletop, with the new rules, the bastard's going to shoot that unit. Cool. Because if I miss, that's fine. In the old rules, if you missed, it went, I've scattered onto my own unit and I have to
Yeah.
resolve the attacks. That was meant I'm not shooting that unit, it's too close.
I think that's a better way of doing on indirect. At the moment, even though it's still hit on 4s or whatever, I think it's still too like accurate and effective.
Do you think like you could have a rule that said perhaps something along the lines of you can't target units within 12 inches of a friendly unit or something?
Maybe, yeah.
To try and sort of bring in the same kind of feeling for I don't know, I'm spit.
Could be. I think the best way potentially of doing it is trying to have like a unit spotting for your indirect unit, so at least you have to risk something then while shooting indirectly.
Which you would have as well. Absolutely. Farmer George says, Lynn, when do we get an article from you printed in White Dwarf? If it's still the same person as it was, I think at the end of last year, mid last year, I know the manager of White Dwarf, and he asked me if I wanted to do an article at some point.
Yeah.
He said he told me that this person who he could get me in touch with to write an article. What the fuck am I going to write about?
Don't know.
I mean, it is evident, having seen former articles in White Dwarf, that you don't need to know what you're talking about or get anything right.
True.
So you can say.
That was the time to come back.
So I am aware of the fact that you can just write bullshit and they'll
You can
print
write
it.
anything you want.
Yeah. And claim to be a professional and know what you're talking about. But I don't think I'd add any value to White Dwarf of any kind of article right now. So that's why I've not done one, despite having been asked.
Write an article for White Dwarf.
Well, I haven't been asked. No, so that's disingenuous. I have not been asked to write an article for White Dwarf, but I know the manager who said, if you want to write an article, let me know. And I was like, I don't.
What would you write about?
Rich is the guy's name. I was like, Rich, I don't know what exactly. I don't know what I would write about. I don't think there's anything. I don't think I would add any value to White Dwarf.
I think you should just say you've done it.
Should we write an article about people that don't know their rules?
Oh no. What about sportsmanship at events?
Sportsmanship, yeah.
Yeah.
Cleanliness.
Hanging around
Cleanliness.
Yeah.
Yeah, the benefits of a shower.
Yeah.
for your, hanging around for your
How
award.
to
Graciously accept defeat.
what to do if your opponent's a bit of a knob.
Again, I don't think we can.
Phrases that people use at tournaments that get on your tits.
1 inch away.
1 inch away.
Yeah.
I'm an inch away. But my mate Dan said the one way to combat that I'm an inch away from the wall is your response should always be, but are you?
Yeah.
Right? Because if they're not, then they're lying. You know? Well, my intention to be an inch away from the wall, but it's like, but you're not an inch
But
away.
are you? Yeah.
Yeah, I saw.
What was it?
I can't say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think like the problem is with tournaments is that people do play by intent. Like my intention is to do this, but intentions and an intention and what's actually happening
Can be different.
can be different.
I think the issue comes when, like, for example, what we were talking about is when you say, like, I'm an inch away from this wall, but then they take their guys and just shove them directly inside the wall, And then when they go to their movement, they treat it as if they were actually touching the wall.
Yeah.
What
That's when it
annoys me
becomes
in
a
that
problem.
regards, I said this earlier, what annoys me in that regards, they go, I'm an inch away from the wall, and you look inside the ruin, and they've got packed full of models, and they're all
Yeah,
touching
it's
the
a
wall.
full
You're like,
house.
you've got no space to be anywhere else.
Yeah.
You've got to be against the wall. So, anyway.
Like if you were an inch away from the wall, I'd be able to see you with my guns because you
Yes.
couldn't get all your stuff in there.
Yeah, you got to pick one or the other, mate.
Yeah.
Either get shot or get charged.
Yeah. Thank you, Ockendor, for the $20. Has anyone mentioned Rambo's idea of a 4-way 1000k Primarch showdown when Fulgrim arrives? And has anyone on the team tried the Angron and all the Jackal spam? I heard it was doing really well. So let's touch on that. The first point. We will have all 4 Primarchs. What we don't have is anything to add to Mortarion, and I have no requirement or desire to do that anyway.
I have access to a Death Guard army if we want it.
Is
Want to
it
borrow it?
Big Ash?
Big Ash.
Yeah.
Well, Steve said he'll send me one down at some point, but then he came down and didn't bring it with him, so I think he was maybe lying.
Did he bring the Speed Freak army with him as well?
No.
I doubt it because I haven't seen it. So
Yeah.
the evidence of my eyes would say.
So it's a cool concept, but we don't have Death Guard. I don't have any inclination to get hold of Death Guard, and no one wants to play Death Guard.
I think
We'll probably do like a World Eaters versus Emperor's Children fight.
I want to paint a Death Guard army
Yeah?
because I painted one before. I did not have a great amount of time to do it, and I did a pretty sloppy job.
If you paint a Death Guard army,
Yeah.
I'll play it.
Yeah.
Because can play the World Eaters, you can play the Emperor's Children, and Paddy can play the Thousand
yeah.
Sons.
Yeah.
I'll take a hit for the team.
Yeah. Just guess. Get me the army, and I'll do it.
It's not that simple. You want fucking Fulgrim Transfigured, who's 180 quid,
And
and you want paying at the end of the month.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And the whole Death Guard army.
I don't want I want to paint it. If I don't have to paint it, that's also good. You know. But I don't mind the idea of painting an army. I kind of want to do the actual green scheme because I prefer the heresy scheme, but everyone does the heresy scheme.
I quite like the green, honestly.
I've not seen anyone do the green scheme well. I think it's one of those colours that it's easy to paint but difficult to make look good, I think.
Could be.
I feel like the Games Workshop paint job is too clean
Yeah.
and looks too nice. Like it's too vibrant almost.
Well, that's why the heresy scheme works really well because it's really easy to make look dirty and like really works efficiently with the models.
I quite like it like a dark green with brown as well going in. That could be good.
As for the last part of the super chat, thank you for the $20, by the way, that's huge.
Yeah.
Has anyone on the team tried the Angron and all the Jackal spam? Heard it was doing really well. You aware of this?
The only Jackal spam I was aware of was someone, I think he went to LGT and did really well with like essentially 120 Jackals and a bunch of Demon Princes.
How do you take 120 Jackals? Can you take it when you're using 20?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not happening. I'm not paying that.
I mean, that's not how this relationship works. But
Are you seriously gonna make me spend a month painting, like 100, like will be 100
It
jackals?
will be 100.
no, because we can just mix in Felgor, Beastman, and you. I wouldn't want you to do the same kit over and over again. That'd be dull.
But yeah, I saw someone did do quite well with Demon Princes and Jackals because they get a fiber pin bun essentially off Demon Princes.
I love the Jackal models, but
I really like Jackals, but they are a pain in the arse to paint.
aren't they just shit in output as well, though?
Oh, they don't kill anything. Like,
Yeah.
you give them sustained lethal hits, but they still don't kill much.
I'm just gonna skip to this now. I've not seen your Death Guard, Mandy, so I can't comment. So yours might be good, and then I can say I have seen one. So
Yeah.
that's just term. That's
Yeah,
just
none of us have
terminology.
done the Jackal spam because I don't think anyone here is prepared to paint that many Jackals, mostly.
When I build lists with World Eaters, I never have more than 20 in a list.
Yeah, 20 is usually what I have. I've never, mainly because I haven't painted 30, never gone to 30.
Yeah.
I do think you probably could have a 20-man unit in Vessels of Wrath just to like go like sit in the middle near a Demon Prince, so it's just a massive pain in the arse to get rid of him.
How many do we have? 20, don't
Yeah.
we? Don't we? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I've not seen the list, so I'll be interested to see what the list does.
I think like 2 units of 20 just to go and choke up an objective and just be like, that's mine until you
The
take
funny
it away
move
from
is
me.
also scouting, advancing, and charging them.
So the other thing as well is I want to wait and see what these new things do.
Oh, the new cool Jackals.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
cooler Jackals with the mechanical
Oh,
legs.
they look so cool.
I want many of those.
Yeah. I really
so
hope
cool.
that they're not shit.
Mandy got Valrak's Death Guard arm. I've not even seen.
So Valrak did a giveaway. Mandy won it, but it wasn't built or painted. So she had to build and paint it all. Okay, good. Because Mandy spends much more time giving Valrak attention than us. We used to be the favourites. Ash, thank you for the 5. All Death Guard need is plus points plus stats, and they're suddenly much better to collect play. Losing Psychic hurts you as you can't spread the buffs, i.e. 1 damage.
I don't understand why all Death Guard are like movement 4, 5. Make them movement 6 and 5. So 6 on the basic infantry, 5 on the Terminators.
Yeah, I mean, they are supposed to be slower.
But wouldn't you... Okay, right. Isn't this a slightly wider problem with Warhammer 40k in general, though? How fast does a Space Marine move on the tabletop?
It's 6.
How fast does a Guardsman move on the tabletop?
It's 6.
Should they be the same?
No.
God, no.
No. So a standard Space Marine could move 7, and then a Plague Marine could be 6, and everything would be fine.
Well, I think so. Emperor's Children are movement 7 now.
Yeah.
Because apparently they just move faster than everyone else, which I don't have as a problem. But Space Marine shouldn't be moving 6 either, I don't think.
That's what I'm saying. If a Guardsman's going to move 6, a standard Space Marine should be moving 7.
Yeah.
Which means you could have a Death Guard Plague Marine moving 6, equal to a human, which is slow compared to an Astartes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I think all of the stats are too similar between like a Guardsman and a Space Marine.
Could you give Death Guard assault on all their guns? But then that's not really representative
That's
of their
not really
lore,
what they do,
is it?
They slowly move towards you. You could give them ignore movement modifiers.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, if someone hits you with a -2 move, you're just not doing
The
anything.
whole of Death Guard army should be
would they work
ignore movement
better
modifiers.
if their army rule was slowing down their opponent?
No, I think reducing toughness and stuff is probably more Death Guards.
Yeah. Because then if their opponent was slower, then they'd be a bit more on equal ground then. Like if they had their miasma, or they did like a blight bombardment into like your opponent's deployment zone, your deployment zone, or the middle of the table. And if you're in that part of the table, you just move slower.
I think they tries to like counter their slowness in their new detachment by basically giving all infantry scout. But the problem is that the good version of Contagion, they made a detachment rule instead of the army rule.
Yeah.
So you lose the actual good Contagion buffs if you switch detachments, which I think is a problem.
Contagion is a really cool mechanic, which I want to see stay. I think you should. I think all you do is you say Death Guard units ignore any movement modifiers.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So when you get hit by that guard bomb, but then the flip side, if you're then a guard player who's taking the artillery barrage, then you're going to feel bad that your detachment rule now doesn't do anything. So it's to get that balance right, isn't it? Who's got the worst feel bads at that point?
Yeah. But it's like, man's all right. Contagion reducing saves is nice, but it takes too long to build up. It's like...
It does, but it's also like narratively reducing saves is super cool. It does take too long to build up, but I love the idea of entropy setting in, things rusting and corroding, because that's cool as shit.
Yeah.
Same as everything having lethal, because a touch and it's like you've been touched by no.
I think they should just make it a flat 6 inches though, because it grows over time.
Yeah, I think having 6 and then having some characters make it more is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or make it 3, but characters.
But yeah, they need to make the Contagion thing just the army rule instead of the thing they get in the detachment.
I want to do some Death Guard. Ugh. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's
Stick Monkey, thank you for 10 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Sean. I hope that they open one of those kind of pop-up pick and mix sweet shops near you. You know. But when you buy the pick and mix, it's not extortionately expensive. Pick and mix is not cheap.
Not nowadays, no.
No. I bought some on the weekend and I nearly dropped dead. You know,
Because of the cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones where I couldn't put it back because obviously it's all been heavily fingered and put into the bag, you know.
Yeah. You can't put things back that are heavily fingered, Jay.
No. So, and yeah, it's a great way because like we don't tell you how much this is going to cost until after you've put it all in a bag.
Yeah.
But you can't put it back. So the unwritten rule is you have to pay for it once it's in the bag.
Otherwise, you look like a prick.
Yeah. But we won't tell you the cost until until we weighed it.
Thank you for 10 gifted
could
though,
ask.
Sean, you legend. We're on 54, chat. We're one away from 55. What bunch of heroes. Stu Will, thank you for the 2. According to science, alcohol is a solution.
Yeah, yeah.
Choke that, Chase.
I've been using. I've drifted into the realms of being one of those people that owns isopropyl alcohol now.
I own IPA. I own it.
For what?
It's fucking great for cleaning anything. And degreasing things.
I use it for securing weathering powder on stuff. So all my bases have got weathering powder on. I've got like a little like pipette, and I like drop little drops of the alcohol, and basically because what it does is it soaks into the weathering powder, which then sticks it to the bases, and then it evaporates. It's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means the weathering powder keeps its shininess as well. Its bright colour, its vibrancy.
Vibrant.
Yeah.
You don't then hit it with a varnish afterwards.
No, because that re-wets it, and then the varnish reacts with the weathering powder. It's not a great look.
So you have to varnish before your weathering powder. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to do weathering in the future on my World Eaters. I know you've never ever done it before. And I bought these Vallejo pigment things, which look like they could. But I need to do some research as to how the
So,
fuck to
like
use them.
with my Raven Guard, I did all the base coating black, and like all the different layers of the black, and then gloss varnish, then put transfers on, and then painted the rest of the model, and then matte varnished, and then did the weathering powder.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. I quite like having the gloss varnish and painting over the gloss varnish now, because if you make a mistake, you just wet your brush, and then you can literally just wipe the paint off, and it doesn't stain the plastic. It's great. Such a nerd.
You can also use like Q-tips with IPA on it. Will come off as well.
Yeah, but if you've glossed it, if you use the alcohol, it won't wipe off the paint layer underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great. Ockingdor, thank you for 1 gifted membership as well as that $20 super chat. What a legend. Stephen M, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Stephen.
This started when I said we might get you Fulgrim transfigured, right? And then it's died out. But yeah, thank you, Stephen M, for 5 gifted memberships.
Think about me. Just think about me and how sad I'll be if I don't get it.
And think about him building a resin miniature.
Yeah. Think about the sadness and the pressure and anger it'll cause me.
I don't think I'm selling it to a mate.
But I'll be able to have it on the table and it looks sexy. So
True.
double-edged sword. Stephen M, I hope that next time you plan a family event, like a day out trip, like far in advance, it's really nice weather, but also like when you get there and to do the thing, everyone's like, you planned it, you don't have to pay for anything today, you don't have to do anything, everyone else will take care of it.
That's quite a nice hope, Jay. Less random, just nice, that one. Stu Will, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Stu. I hope that your worst enemy gets a paper cut on their foreskin.
Ooh!
Oh,
How?
my God.
What have they done? How have they managed that?
Maybe they've just had a shower,
Yeah.
right, and they're just like they walk into their stuff and they trip.
Yeah.
Maybe they've left like a pile of bills on the floor or something.
So they full penis first.
Yeah,
As you do.
as you
As you
do.
do.
Don't
Or
put your
they
arms
fell
out.
and then they slid along, and that's what caused the cut.
Right.
know?
Okay.
Well, they're doing their
Maybe they got
taxes-
like newspapers in the bathroom. Or
doing their
something.
taxes in the
Yeah.
nude.
I'm here for that one. Wee Man, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, man. I hope that you get a tax rebate this April to the tune of £4,000.
Fucking hell.
Banging.
Any reason why 4,000? Just a random number you
That's
put
a
in.
number, but
Cool.
I feel like because it'd be rare to get like a £10,000 tax rebate, wouldn't it? For like, so 4 is like a
nice number. A reasonable number.
It's more than what it probably would be, but it's a nice. It's like a good. That's like a new cheap car that won't break down.
Yeah.
Ash.
And thank you, Schooner, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Schooner. I hope that this weekend there is a village fair on near your house, and it has pony rides that will let you get on them and ride you around the
I'd love to
the
see
green.
you on a pony.
You've got to
ride.
think about riding animals today, haven't you?
Yeah. You got to pick a thing. I got to pick a thing for the
Have
day.
you been riding for the weekend?
Nah.
Have you ever done any riding?
Yeah, I used to ride a lot, actually.
Yeah.
I used to be part of the pony club.
I don't disbelieve that for one moment.
I had a pony called Peanut. That died, sadly, and we got a new one. But what put me off the pony club was that one bit me. It was like a horse bit me. It bit me like here and literally picked me up and like
Oh my
waved
God.
me around. It's like an awful.
What are you doing to it?
Nothing.
What the fuck was it? A Shire horse?
Well, basically, what it was is that
It picked you up and shook you around?
I had like I
How
was
old were
feeding
you?
it carrots. Basically, on my coat at the time, I had like the little toggles, and it would like bite the toggle and pull it, and obviously it snapped back, and I thought it was hilarious. And then one day it was like, okay, chomp, it just bit me. It was like your whole body is now a toggle. But then then I really started to hate Pony Club when my sisters were born, and I had to take them to Pony Club events, and I was a teenager. It was.
I learned something new about you every
Yeah.
fucking day, Joe, and it never ceases to put a smile
Last
on
week
my face.
it was like Dance Commander,
Dance Commander, yeah.
rollerblades, and that was the Pony Club.
Sure, thank you for the 2. Can recommend Araman series for 40k? Ask Thames.
Okay.
Have you read or listened to the Araman series?
I
Joe?
haven't. I find Araman a bit boring.
Yeah.
Why?
He's just a nerd, isn't he? He's a book nerd,
They're all nerds.
dweeb,
It's kind of their vibes.
sitting there. Although you've not finished. You haven't even started the Fall of Terror review.
No.
Araman's got a real solid bit in the last book where he's like in the library. He's basically absorbing all the knowledge in the library by essentially he just all the ink in all the books just runs out of all the books. It just goes into him. He just absorbs all the knowledge. It's great. But
I love Araman.
I just don't think like the Thousand Sons book did really, really well on how they interacted their psychic powers and their combat prowess together.
Yeah.
It's how they worked as a team. They were like, instead of having all the people who have one specific spell ability learning, they spread them out. So people that create shields are also in the team of people that can make fire or really good at shooting and stuff or control the robots was great. But in the newer stuff, it's like I pulled his soul out of his body or I set him on fire. You know, it becomes pretty like samey throughout the book. So the books become more about politics and talking and learning and stuff. But the politics of Thousand Sons is just a bit meh.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Galahad, thank you for the 1 gifted membership. You're a legend. Tank the Unknown, thank you for 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Tank. I hope that next time you go out for dinner, you sit at a table next to Adam Sandler.
Oh,
Yeah. And he talks to you. Doesn't just ignore
Okay.
you. Yeah.
just call you a nerd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Armholio, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you. I hope that what happens to your worst enemy is something that happened to me the other day. Right, and it's a massive inconvenience, by the way.
It's part of Pony Club.
I went to go and buy something in the shop, a bag for my partner, actually. I used my phone, because now I've learned to use pay by phone. Joined the rest of the fucking world, apparently. And I went to go pay for it. It said declined. And then I immediately got a text message from the bank saying, we've cancelled your card because of suspicious activity
Yeah,
on it.
they use the phone. It's definitely not Joe.
Yeah. Because obviously, that day I'd gone to the sweet shop to buy sweets.
Yeah.
I'd gone to Weatherspoons for lunch. So I'd spent money that day. This person's done more than one payment above £20 today. So it got shut off. And then they're like, have you shopped in these places? And I got it fixed. So I stood at the till. But like every time you go and pay for something, you get that people that stand at tills look at you like you're scum, like you've got money problems. I'm like, no, look. I showed him. I was like, my phone's been cut off.
Look at all my money.
Yeah, and so
He's not saying
my
that.
card got cut off, and then eventually they got it, so I could pay. But because of the card payment tried to get through, that payment, even though it got declined on the machine, then was pending in my account. So I'd essentially lost £80 for 24 hours. I didn't have enough money in my bank account to then pay for the thing I wanted to do because it was floating in the ether. Yeah. So my partner had to buy it for her birthday present.
And then you send the money across when it comes through.
Yeah. But it was just annoying, really annoying. Because he's like, I can do this, but my bank fucked it up. And then the people in the shop looked at me.
Wait, so what are you hoping for?
I hope that his worst enemy, his card, gets cancelled like on the spot in the shop and he can't pay for stuff.
Right, okay.
Right? But also, the bank doesn't believe him when he says it's him.
Okay.
So their bank card just gets declined for
Cool,
ages.
we got there. Thank you.
got a story at the same time.
It was a good story, Joe. I
You're
was
lucky
glad
ducks.
you took me on that journey. Thank you, mate.
It was a story.
You make me do these fucking...
No.
Thank yous.
No. You started them.
Yeah.
I said they were great, we should carry them on. Now chat expects them. Because the other week when you said you don't want to do them anymore, there was an outpouring in chat saying, please don't stop Joe Hopes.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, but what do I get?
A salary.
What about me?
yeah, paid.
Yeah, but my contract doesn't just specifically say only gets paid for Joe Hopes.
No, it says does what he's fucking told.
Nah. Nah. It doesn't specifically say that.
In fancier words.
I mean, I can change it. I can change the contract.
Yeah, but I get to ask for things as well.
Yeah, you can ask.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
If I don't get them, my wishes aren't fulfilled, I shan't sign it. I shall burn it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you don't get paid.
That's fine.
You didn't have £80 for a bag.
Well, I did.
Oh yeah, you did.
I
to be
did,
fair, yeah.
technically. I did have money for a bag.
Oh dear.
Anyway, Lieben Russ, thank you for the 5. First is World Eaters. Second, Emperor's Children. Third, Death Guard. Fourth, Standard Chaos Space Marines. Fifth, Thousand Suns.
Jesus, people don't like Thousand Suns.
It's
is what I'm
interesting. I didn't
learning.
know this.
I mean, I don't really like him, to be honest.
I
but-
think it's because they're just too complicated
Do you
to
think?
play.
I was about to say. Do you also think it's because they've gone through phases of being oppressively, brokenly good?
Yeah, that's
and,
true.
and people remember that. So
Like-
a lot of the reason why a lot of people hate Eldar,
Yeah.
is because they've gone through so many phases of being oppressively, brokenly good, and people go, don't like them because they were that. They were. I got touched in my dark places a couple of times.
Yeah, you got to be more like me. You just got to hate him because they hate him.
Joe, what do you think?
What? I was reading.
Joe's
chat.
not paying attention
I
at
just
all.
completely signed out. I was.
Do you think that the hate for Thousand Suns is based on narrative? Do you think it's because of how complicated they are? Do you think it's because they have been insane on a couple of occasions?
I
and
think
people remember that they've been touched in their dark
it's-
places.
I just think it's because of how complicated they are as an army to play. Because it's not like you go, my army rule is I get sustained hits, and I pick a unit and I reroll to hit it, That's like quite simple. Whereas in Thousand Suns, it's like this unit has to remain within 6 inches of this unit to get its ability off, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And if this unit dies, then you get less on this dice roll, which means that you might be able to do something sometimes. And your shooting's kind of either okay or oppressive or terrible.
I've played against our Suns a fair few times in 10th edition now. I still don't really know what they do.
Yeah.
I think that's part of the
I
problem.
don't think the people playing them know what they do.
I
But
think
there's
the
also
good
been a-
ones probably do. But
But
yeah.
there's also been occasions in the past, I think 9th edition was this, maybe 8th, but 9th edition was this as well, where they go, right, it's my turn. Here's a psychic phase. I've killed everything with mortal wounds.
Yeah.
You can't do anything about
And
it.
Yeah, 100%.
And also-
and like start at 10th, it was basically that as well, because you could just like teleport anyone anywhere and then to destroy any unit in the game with like full rerolls to hit and wound dev wounds.
I think also part of it is because of how horrible that army is to paint.
Do you think?
Because most times that you see Thousand Suns nowadays, is that they're normally red and gold.
I've never seen red and gold.
Because most I've seen ever are red and gold. Because red is an incredibly easy colour to paint. Gold is an incredibly easy colour to paint. And at best, they might wash the entire model right clean fresh stage.
I've only ever seen the blue one. I've never seen a red thousand.
But the thing is that the blue is horrible to paint. When it's done well, it looks incredible. Like our thousands, we had the convenience of having someone else paint it, and it looks amazing. Yeah. Paddy's Thousand Sons look amazing because he's taken the months and months it takes to paint that army. It's not an army you can just paint over like 2 or 3 days and it's done, because it's either you paint the model blue and then you have to paint all the gold trim, or you paint the model gold first and then you have to fill in the blue. And painting blue on gold, no bueno. It's not super great.
No, true.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
It's a shame because the model range is very pretty.
Yeah, because the model range is stunning. Like a nicely painted Thousand Sons army, I think personally looks better than all 5 of the Chaoses.
Yeah, it definitely can.
Done properly, it's very striking. It's very nice.
I also think a lot of people just don't like Magnus as a character as well. I think he's quite a divisive one.
Yeah. It's like everyone's like, oh, Magnus did nothing wrong. He did.
He did many things that were wrong.
Terrible things.
He's kind of a moron for most of his book.
Yeah. He basically ruined the Emperor's grand scheme.
Yeah.
With positive intention.
Yeah, his intentions were good, but it's like you said, that thing about intelligent people having no common sense.
Yeah.
That was like the least sensible thing to try and do.
It's the scaling, isn't it, right? It's like when your kids bring you a drink and they spill it. You know, you're like, oh, it's right, because you're trying to do something nice, right? This is like the equivalent of your kids trying to give you a drink by firing at you with a catapult, you know? And that drink is also fire, you know? So
yeah, he had good intentions, but he also doomed humanity to eternity of war and hell.
Yeah, you know, let's help, or like, you need to lose a bit of weight. Let's lose that weight by just chopping your body up.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah.
Interesting tangents you're going on here, Jay.
It's just the fight between him and Vulcan in the Heresy was quite good, though.
Yeah, I've not read it, but I've read bits about it on the internet.
Basically,
cool.
Magnus kills
He kills
Vulcan
him like 50 times, doesn't he?
So many times.
Is that then the second Primarch that has repeatedly killed Vulcan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I love about that fight is that
Is Vulcan a bitch?
what happens, right, is that Magnus just kills him loads and loads, just hundreds of times as Vulcan's trying to get to him. And then Vulcan just punches him, and Magnus with full glass jaw just goes, "Oh, I'm dead now."
What a Chad.
Yeah.
Not Fulgrim, Vulcan Stan right there, yeah.
Yeah.
So Vulcan's a bitch.
Vulcan is every tank in every computer game. He would just eat it, but when he gets there, he's just like, he might hurt you a bit. But and then he just spends the rest of the Horus Heresy just talking.
Kazarian, thank you for the 5. He says Kabunda is the best demon. Also, Khan's Heresy arc and post-Heresy stories are better than Ahriman, Typhus, or Lucius. #biased.
I mean, I'm very biased about the Khan section of that, but
if you're going
fucking love
if
Khan.
you're
Khan is
picking,
probably the best World Eaters character.
if you're talking in terms of post-Heresy, pre-Heresy, Khan out of those options has the best story.
Yeah.
Like Lucius he's just a little bitch.
Lucius, after he dies for the first time, just becomes a fucking cartoon character.
Yeah, like Typhus' story is not.
I'd say Typhus is this maybe second best. I do quite like him.
Out of all, like Ahriman and Typhus both massively mess up their entire legion.
But Typhus does it intentionally.
Yeah, Lucius isn't.
I'm here for that.
Lucius doesn't mess up his legion. That was Fulgrim and.
No, he just
Eidolon
gets shanked by whatever the guy's name is, and then becomes really annoying.
Khan's is really cool. I like Khan.
He's just like an alright person most of the time.
Good lad.
And then goes a bit mental.
Yeah.
Also, beats the living shit out of Erebus in Betrayer, which is one of the best scenes in any of the Horus Heresy books.
Commander, not best demon though.
I don't really know anything about him other than that Sanguinius beat him up.
Yeah, everyone beats him up. That's the problem.
Is he that guy?
Yeah, he's just like, he goes up and he
it?
beats up a bunch of like nerds, all the weak people. He just pushes them around like
It's like the guy in Star Trek, the big guy who just used to be there to show how strong everyone else was because they just beat him up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Commander is used as the punch bag for anyone with like a narrative kind of armor.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, interesting. I don't think Commander is the best demon, but I am a huge Khan fan.
Oh, yeah.
So
I am praying that Khan gets a glow up like Lucius has had.
and I love the Butcher's Nails as a fucking
Bellicor is best demon.
narrative thing as well.
It's such a cool narrative thing for him because there's like so much conflict in the books between like doing it, not doing it, and then how he like tries to control it afterwards, and the slow like decline over thousands of years.
I love it. Biggie Hugs, thank you for 5 gifted memberships. Biggie Hugs.
Thank you, Biggie Hugs. I hope that you get why is my chair vibrating all of a sudden then? Is that you waving your
I'm not moving, mate.
My chair is like something's happening to the building.
Getting your own earthquake?
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. I hope
That's
that
fucking
your local takeaway recognises you as an incredibly good customer and give you an entire year's worth of free takeaway.
Oh, a year's worth.
A year's
That's
worth.
amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what I really want today, Joe? I probably won't order it, but do you know what I really want today?
What?
A succulent Chinese meal.
Oh, don't say that out loud.
Evan and Mordy Hammer, thank you for the 1 gifted each. Mandy, thank you for the $10. Sisters of Silence not being immune to psychic or denying psychic attacks within 6 inches or breaking signups within 6 inches was a huge miss in 10th. Blanks need more love. Strong agree.
Oh, I would love it so much if the Sister Silence just got generally more love within the game, models, rules, all of it.
What I would like to see going into 9th edition is the change of how things interact with the psychic phase, but also like other rules. Like I'd like to be able to say that you've got like, oh, my character can deny a spell. You could do a spell? Well, I stop your spell. Like once per battle round or once per game, you go, or the Sister Silence go, you can't do psychic abilities if you're within 6 inches of me. Just flat. Right? Because they are psychic things. Like, there's like Tyranids, Thousand Suns, Eldar. They're near the Sister Silence. Sister Silence go, no magic for you within 6 inches. And then they've got an actual viable battlefield role within Custodes.
Blanks are so important in the narrative. They just don't do anything.
Yeah, it's like Custodes only take Sister Silence as an objective holder.
Yeah, they go out and then they die.
Yeah.
The only time they do anything funny is when you, like, the one time you play against Zeech or Thousand Suns, and he's like, oh, I've got a 3-up field no pain against all of your attacks.
Yeah, but like for the 9 out of 10 other games that
every other game you play, they don't do anything.
They stand in your deployment zone, stopping people from deep striking in, and then waddle off and do something.
Waddle.
They're a perfect candidate to do battle shock stuff as well. Like surely, like they literally make people have anxiety attacks in the books.
Yeah, well, that's like they've got psych out grenades and stuff, right?
Yeah.
And also, like I think what like would be cool, and there's something needs to happen. There's so many stuff in the game which is like, oh, take a battle shock test, or next time you take a battle shock test, it's -1. You know what should happen is someone goes, you're battle shocked.
Yeah,
there should be characters or spells or whatever in the game where it just happens.
Yeah,
and there's no stopping it. I'd like to see that come into the game.
That would be interesting.
Not something that could be abused, like a named character or an enhancement that you can't just duplicate over and over and over again. So it's broken, but like cool little tech pieces, like the Neurolictor forces battle shock on people. I feel like he should be goes that unit's battle shocked, done.
It could be a very strong rule, but like if you just have like one guy in the army that could do it,
because like Tyranids, when you unleash the hive mind, you get -1 leadership if you're within 6 inches of a Tyranid unit because of the hive mind. I feel like you're like cool, but like whenever your opponent takes battle shock tests, they don't suffer the -1.
Oh right, yeah,
yeah, just normally. I feel like I would prefer that to be the army rule. If your opponent takes a battle shock test and they're within 6 inches of you, you're -1.
Evan and Mordiammer, thank you for the 1 gifted each. We are on 55. One person gives 5 memberships. What does that take us to, Joe? 60, mate. 60.
60. Yeah. I don't count along like you.
55 plus 5 is 60.
Well, I'm not counting them.
But you just told you it's 55.
I
just said out loud it was 55.
I'm going to be honest, I wasn't listening.
If 3 people give 5, what does that get us to, Joe?
3 people give 5? 15 on 60?
Yeah.
That's 100. 75.
Okay.
175.
175.
Arcing Door, thank you for the $2. Indirect should require a spotter like the Tau.
I think indirect. They need to change indirect. So it should be harder to hit, but you shouldn't receive the benefit of cover. Right? Right. If you know someone's in a room and there's a window, you can try and throw a grenade through the window. It'd be quite hard to do. But I think once it's in there, once that grenade is through that hole, right, you shouldn't get cover when you're in the room because it's in the room with you, kind of thing.
But surely it's more like if the projectiles are coming down and some of the building blocks some of the projectiles. I thought that was the point of cover.
I don't think so, right? Because like artillery, when it hits the building is dropping on top of the people inside it too. It has the added bonus of masonry and gravity.
But if I was a space marine, I'd rather have a building fall on top of me than a mortar round.
I don't know, the mortars in this game are pretty terrible. The mortars in this game struggle to kill guard. I think... I think once it's hit you, I think it should do the damage. So like currently, the big problem we've got is Space Marines hitting on 4s, re-rolling everything to hit. I think that if you're shooting indirectly, it should probably hit on a 4 with no army benefits. You don't get sustained, you don't get lethal, you don't get re-roll hits.
Yeah.
But when it does hit you, it's still AP 2, it's still AP3, it's still the max damage because there should be a payoff. It's all negatives when you shoot indirect currently.
It is, yeah.
But I think it should be all negatives because it's such a strong ability to have.
Or
you're at absolutely zero risk from someone shooting you back.
Or they change indirect weapons entirely, right? And you look at games like other game systems for indirect where artillery isn't designed to kill, it's a morale deficit on that force. So you're shell shocking people, right? So units that get hit by artillery can't move or becomes battle shocked.
It'd be more like the Basilisk, is it?
Yeah, the Basilisk, which is like
-2
-2. Yeah, I think more like that. So you don't kill much, but it slows you down and pins you.
Yeah, I think it would be better for the game if indirect was more of a an ability based thing rather than actually try to do damage.
Yeah, because like three basilisks shooting a guard unit in a building, they just stand there and take it.
Yeah.
And then they walk out and they shoot you, charge you, or throw grenades at you, whatever. If you're a human being in a building and someone's dropping an artillery barrage on you, you're gonna be lying down. you're gonna be piling as many pieces of building on top of you to protect you from the explosions.
Yeah.
Someone in Gloucester is calling me.
Are they?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Thank you, Liney Panda, for the 10. Another hot take. There are only 2.5 interesting Chaos Primarchs. Lorgar, Fulgrim, and the lobotomized half of Angron. All the rest are whiny loser babies.
Fulgrim is the biggest whiny loser baby there's ever been.
Fulgrim is a massive whiny loser baby.
If you've read Fulgrim or Age of Exterminatus, he is the whiniest prick you will ever see in a book.
He has an existential moment. He is having an internal conflict with a demon.
So it's okay when there's excuses for him, but not for Angron.
Because Angron doesn't have a demon inside him.
He just has about 50 nails in his brain, like stopping him feeling anything except anger and rage.
Did he put them there?
No. Do you know any? Okay. He literally got forced in.
And his instant reaction is, I'm going to put it in my entire legion.
No, the legion did it to themselves because they wanted to be like Daddy.
Well, that's
because they have
silly.
serious issues.
That someone should have said no.
Some of them did, and then they had a civil war, and half of them got killed by the other half. And funnily enough, the ones with the butcher's nails won.
Yeah, I did like the fact that the bit of the story where all the librarians had it and it made them explode.
That was funny.
It was funny.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. Perturabo is my favourite Primarch.
I actually
Flat.
love Perturabo. If you want some good Perturabo content, read Angel Exterminatus.
Yeah, but the problem with Perturabo is that he's like power edgelord. He's like, oh, I'm going to be dark. He thinks in his head he's mysterious and everyone underestimates him, which makes him better than everyone else.
Yeah.
Whereas actually he's just constantly looking for approval from everyone.
Yeah, he does want the approval.
But he is. But basically, if it wasn't for him, the traitors would have never made it to Terra.
He did a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
Because like half of the Primarchs can even land on Terra.
Yeah, and
they're demons.
And basically, no one was listening to Horus. So, like, Perturabo had to basically go in and just like rein in all the other Primarchs. And there's a bit where he basically goes and beats 7 bells out of Angron. He's like, "You will come to Terra. You will help us."
Angron's another one where like everyone takes turns beating him up.
Yeah.
Because he's like the strong one.
I really like hers as
I
a
like
Primarch. But he was like, "I'm bored now. Please kill me." And then he just let an assassin kill him.
I actually really don't like Mortarion.
I don't like
Because he in his like pre-heresy lore stuff, he's like, I hate psychics and I hate tyrants, and then he just becomes one.
I don't really like the Lion now either.
I don't like the
He's a
Lion.
traitor. He is a traitor Primarch now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, because he just he comes back and he goes, all those people that turned bad, I forgive you. That guy there who's running around this planet with me, who's got a literal demon inside him, I forgive him.
He's just embraced his Lord and Savior. You know,
It's just
he's found religion.
Who's your favourite Primarch?
Perturabo.
It's Angron, but Perturabo pretty close. I
Perturabo.
also really like Liam Ross.
I really like Lorgar.
Fair. I actually think Lorgar potentially has the best character arc of any of the Primarchs.
I love Lorgar.
He has the best Fall to Chaos easily, although Fulgrim also has a very good Fall to Chaos. The worst Fall to Chaos is probably Horus,
Yeah.
because he just gets stabbed and he's like, oh, okay.
I'm Chaos now.
Yeah, whoopsie.
Yeah, and basically in the Fall of Terror, he literally spends the entire Solar War sat on his ship.
Yeah, he does like all.
He gets everyone to do all of the. He doesn't fight anyone until he fights Sanguinius.
Who?
Horus.
Yeah.
Just not get involved.
Just wasn't match fit, was he?
No. I don't really like Horus, to be honest, during the Heresy. Like, he's really cool before he falls to Chaos in like, that one book, but then, like, the rest of it, he's just not that great as a character.
Yeah.
I like it if Lorgar...
I think it's like everyone likes Sanguinius because he's just...
I don't really like Sanguinius.
He's just cool.
He's a bit like the Mary Sue, though, isn't he? He's just like, I'm the best at everything. I'm flawless, and everyone love me.
Grim Witchburn. Alpharius is the best. This is a lie. Alpharius is one of the cooler Primarchs.
Don't really like him.
He is unfortunately the MacGuffin Primarch.
Yeah.
He's like, we need an excuse for something to happen. Alpharius happened.
Surprise!
But Alpharius does have the single best Primarch novel out of all of them.
Oh, what, in the old one? The Heresy
In the
ones?
Heresy, he has the best Primarch book out of all of them.
Oh, the book?
Yeah.
Right, okay. I thought you said model for some reason.
His model is stunning as well.
It is cool.
It is beautiful.
It's very cool.
I'm not a huge fan of Alpha Legion because a lot of the writing, sometimes they go way too into like the double bluff stuff.
So
And they
There's
go
no
into, like,
Heresy Angron transfigured though, is it?
But like the Alpharius book basically shows how bad the fall of Horus is.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to spoil it for everyone because it's been out for long enough. You've had your chance. Basically, Horus wasn't the first found Primarch. Throughout the entire Horus Heresy books, he's always called the first found. That's what makes him special because he had the most amount of time with the Emperor out of all of them, and that's like his most prideful thing. When in actuality, Alpharius was the first found Primarch, and they kept him a secret, until all the others had been found, and then they revealed him because he spent all of his time on Terra working with man. Like he was there when they found the lion. He was there when they found Perturabo, like doing all the stuff. He was like the Emperor's like secret sword. He was like, if any of these guys mess up, just do him, shiv him.
How many like murder people did he have? Because he also had Lehman Russ running around murdering legions.
Well, like Lehman Russ was like, I need to make a statement.
Yeah,
kind of.
Lehman Russ is like zero subtlety.
Yeah, like Alpharis is more like everyone's asleep. Like we'll get rid of him and we'll just tell everyone he had a stomachache and fell off a wall. You know.
Finally, before we say goodbye, because we got stuck on 55 members, Joe, I'm afraid. Finally, Mandy, thank you for the $5. She says, Kabanda saved the Blood Angels, even left them a nice little statue made of Tyrannid skulls as a gift. Put some respect on that name. Aimed at you, Joe, that. Kazarian in chat was also saying that he bitch slapped Sanguinius first.
Who?
Kabanda bitch slapped Sanguinius first is what Kazarian. I don't know the narrative, so I'm just saying what was in chat earlier.
So yeah, basically Sanguinius fought Kabanda, and it was a mutual tie, right? And then Sanguinius kills Kabanda on Terra, and then whilst he's full messed up from fighting Kabanda, then tears Angron's head off.
Right.
Because chat.
Because plot armor.
Yeah. Plus, in the same fight, kills multiple Titans.
This is what I mean about he's a bit of a Mary Sue.
The thing about Sanguinius is that he's like Superman, but if Superman knows when Superman's gonna die, so he's like everything up until then technically can't kill me.
Oh yeah.
So he's like, I could do what I want because he knows that he already knows before he fights Horus that when he fights Horus he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So he's like, so anything I do up till then, free reign.
I don't love that as like a plot point, to be honest.
Morty Hammer did it. He got us to 60. Thank you, Morty Hammer, for the 5.
60?
Yeah.
6. So that's your number.
Thank you, Morty Hammer, for the
6 more. It'd be 60.
Thank you, Morty Hammer, for the 5 gifted memberships.
Thank you, Morty Hammer. You liked it?
You look sad.
Morty Hammer. I hope that your worst enemy, when they go to make a cup of tea at home tonight, right, they make a cup of tea for themselves. Maybe they've got guests around, make lots of cup of tea, put it all out, pours all the milk out, and it's turned. You get all the milky bits in the cups, right? He's got no milk left. Shop's closed.
He just ruined all the tea.
Just ruined all the tea.
That's quite a strong hate for a mortal enemy, Joe.
I like the hate ones you're doing now. I think you should get into it.
Yeah. There's maybe like a petrol station like a 20-minute drive away. That's just massively inconvenient.
I do like the hate ones. I'm a big fan. I am a fan. Leo looks like he's about to fall asleep. I'm all right. I'm okay. Oh my lord.
Thank you, Cornet Ed.
Jeez.
James. Sexcellent right. What a great day.
Cornet Ed, thank you for the 20 gifted.
Thank you, Cornet Ed.
Fucking mad lad.
I hope, Cornet Ed, that when they do the super duper limited edition World Eaters Codex, right, the one with the coins.
I want that one.
And the pie.
I want that one.
You get number 1. Numbered 001.
Or 8.
I think I'd rather have number 8.
Or 88.
You can have 8. No, that's less important. You want to be near the beginning.
Oh yeah.
One is the one where you could probably sell it again in the future
for the
big bucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
you never know.
Or 8 million. 800 or 8 million. 800,000.
Yeah, I think you want number 8, don't you? Just for cool.
Yeah.
Cornet Ed has said in chat, I can't leave it on /60, so he's literally given enough just to make it go straight to 80.
What about 88?
What a legend. 80 gifted now. Well, it's not. It's strictly 79 gifted and one person became a member. What an absolute fucking bunch of legends. I started making World Eaters again recently.
Fucking love.
You started all the things recently.
I'm just fucking loving the hobby at the moment, Joe. I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
I'm in just such a happy hobby place. And I won't let anyone bring me down going, you don't paint shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm enjoying myself. That's all that matters.
That is the thing at the end of the day for the hobby, isn't it? Like, it is a hobby. You're supposed to enjoy it.
Yeah, you're right, Kazarian. I'm not reading your last super chat, mate. I did warn you all in Thanes if that comes out in Super
Man,
Champs.
he's
it's gonna
got
get
number
ignored.
2
What is
of
it?
the second Siege of Terror book.
Oh wow.
Is it the? Oh, it's the right fancy ones. I really wanted the fancy Siege of Terror books.
Yeah.
I
wanted them, and they were already sold out before I got them. And I looked on eBay for them, and it's just not worth it.
Well, I think the Siege of Terror was when Games Workshop was at its very pointing the blame at Games Workshop is not fair. Is when we were at the worst stage of scalper.
Yeah,
gate,
that's true.
You know,
Yeah.
when those books were coming out, it was just like sells out immediately. Everything's on eBay straight away.
eBay.
And that was I think that was a really unfortunate time for the Siege of Terror to come out because the world had discovered that limited edition stuff for 40k sells really well.
Yeah.
I think it's been curbed a lot better now.
Yeah, I mean, on the flip side, it did mean that they've sort of tried to put things in place to solve and resolve it, which
Yeah.
is good. So yeah, I thank you so much, Coordinator. They've put us an 80 gifted. That's incredible, man. What a legend. You're all amazing people. Tonight we have another live game of Warhammer 40k. Joe is bringing another different Emperor's Children detachment, although he hasn't yet decided which one. I don't think because the one he played today. He doesn't like.
I'm gonna run the one I did today.
You did win.
I did win.
Yeah.
So
And he's taking on Mr. the Tom over here with Space Wolves.
Yeah. I'm taking the furries off Brom for the evening.
Yeah. Which I was when I saw you with Space Wolves today, I got very excited because that means I can play World Eaters on Thursday.
Oh, fuck. Don't take my world eater slot.
if you played World Eaters, you'd have to play Eldar.
I wouldn't have to play Eldar. I could play anything really, can't I? To be fair, but I want to
I
play
think you
World
should
Eaters.
because I had a really good joke lined up.
What was that?
Basically, like, did you know that like other armies exist? Because you ran a lot of Eldar.
I do know other armies exist, but what was the joke?
Oh,
Still waiting.
don't worry.
You said you had a really good joke lined up. so-
I'm saving it
Oh yeah.
for the time.
Okay. Liam, you ready for Zach and Meg to come and visit? I can't wait to see you play each other. Yes, we're looking forward to it, actually. The first week, I think, is in April. Meg and I will be doing it'll be the Liam and Meg show on the Tuesday daytime. And then you're playing Zach at AOS on the night time.
Yeah,
So you get to play an AOS game.
that's fair. That's fair.
There we go. So it is fair.
Yeah.
I mean, you'll be here whilst we're doing the Liam and Meg show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What am I doing?
Whatever I say.
I don't do what you say.
You're
now.
gonna be stood just off camera naked so we can paint you like a French girl.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, there we go. So that's coming soon as well. Oh, hang on. Oh, my Lord. Okay, right, perfect. Anyway, thank you so much, you wonderful human beings. Look forward to tonight to Emperor's Children versus Space Wolves. What's the detachment called, Joe, do you remember?
The Coterie of the Conceited.
Okay.
It's the
Something
one
like
where
that.
you pledge how many units you're going to kill,
Beautiful.
and then you get.
Yeah.
It's a good rule. It's just terrible if it doesn't work until turn 4.
So look forward to that tonight. Tomorrow we've got the Warhammer show again at 7:30. Back with Liam and Joe show on Thursday. Another live game of 40k with Paddy here. And then Friday we have 40k After Dark, probably. Okay? Would you describe it as a hobby collab? Right, thank you so much for watching, you wonderful people. Hopefully we'll see you tonight. If not, we'll see you in the next one.
Bye, have a wonderful time.
Bye.